Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 6th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. We're hanging in there. I will say there was just something about today, and I think it's just because I know I'm about to be off for like a couple of days that just made me go, man, I do not want to be here. Like, I don't want to be doing anything. Felt like super lazy, super unproductive. I was just playing on my phone for most of the day. I ain't gonna lie to you. But overall, I did try to keep it somewhat productive. Yeah. And then also, I guess I'll do the thing that I do every once and so often, where I get really real with you guys and I say some things that's on my mind, outside of the news. Even though sometimes it is kind of weaves back in and out of that. It's kind of like life stuff. But I'll tell you what, it has been a hard week for me, like communication wise, I think, where I'm having like these situations and these conversations sometimes that just made me either frustrated or leave me in a situation where I'm like, okay, I'm just done talking. I'm just done. Like, no. Like, you're not paying me for a debate. I'm out of here. Or we're just not clicking right now. I don't want to even see your fucking push notifications. Bye. So that's been me. And I know that oftentimes I can, in my head, feel so right and justified on things. And I have to remind myself that it's like, hey, sometimes you just have a difference of opinion with somebody. Sometimes someone handles a thing differently than you do, and that's okay. Like, they're still your person. They still fuck with you. You still fuck with them. You just got to take five or something like that, or let them take their five. So yeah, it's just been one of those weeks, and it's only Wednesday. And yeah, but we're hanging in. Like I said, we're doing good. I really want to say that today has been a-okay. Food corner, nothing to report. It's been boring. I had the old pasta bolognese, and it was good. It was fine. But yeah, I'm actually struggling figuring out what I'm gonna eat tonight. Once I get done with this, I have no idea. We'll see. I'm sure I'll keep you posted if it's something awesome. But let me go ahead and take my break. I feel like, the day I've had, I deserved it. And then we'll get into some news. I'll try to do my best to do some coverage. I feel like this one's going to be a loose fit. We gotta talk a little Supreme Court. Y'all know I don't do well with that. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Whew. Our first story is from the Associated Press. In a rare action against Israel, U.S. says extremist West Bank settlers will be barred from America. In a rare punitive move against Israel, the State Department said Tuesday it will impose travel bans on extremist Jewish settlers implicated in a rash of recent attacks on Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced the step after warning Israel last week that President Joe Biden's administration would be taking action over the attacks. Blinken did not announce individual visa bans, but department spokesman Matthew Miller said the bans will be implemented starting Tuesday and would cover dozens of settlers and their families, with more to come if the settler violence continued. He wouldn't give a number and refused to identify any of those targeted due to confidentiality reasons. I think this is a quote-unquote step in the right direction, but it's definitely not enough. I think this is one of those things where U.S. officials are reading the room and they're seeing like, okay, I know we told these guys, like, let's chill out. Let's not do the civilian casualty thing, yada, yada, yada. And they're just leaving us on red. They're saying, okay, and then just doing whatever the fuck they want. And I don't think that top brass actually gives a shit, sadly, about it. But at the same time, they give a shit about the PR. So they're like, well, we got to do something. We got to say fucking something, right? And the West Bank situation is just as perilous as a situation in Gaza. I mean, it's not easy for anyone. If you are in Gaza, if you're in West Bank, hell, even if you are an Arab Jewish person in Israel, like, shit is just not easy for you. It is hard as hell. I mean, you can kind of put it on some kind of gradient spectrum, but it's just all levels of bad. And West Bank, from what I've learned, it is a very hard situation where you have your land, you're living in your home, and then there are literally Jewish settlers who come, and in their mind, in their eyes, and they feel like you're in their land. You're on their land. You're in the way. And usually they're, supported, backed, protected by the IDF. They are literally handed weapons, especially, post October 7th, which is a part I want to get to in a second. Some of these weapons, most of these weapons, if I'm not fucking mistaken, are coming from the U.S. So we are literally sending them the guns that they're putting in the hands of Israeli people, and these Jewish settlers are going and saying, hey, get off, go leave, or we'll fucking kill you. And in some situations, they literally kill people, and maybe, just maybe, they get tried, they get arrested, something happens. But I don't even know necessarily how documented that shit is. From what I've seen, it's not very well documented by Israel. So I'm curious to see how this is actually going to go over, if it actually is going to mean something, have a sting, have an effect. Because some of the stories I've heard out of West Bank are just so terrible, so heartbreaking, just as fucking sad as Gaza. Situations where literally people are living and the people above them are throwing like trash and filth and things like that because they feel like, well, yeah, where I live is fine. I know that there's some Palestinian person down there. Who gives a fuck? Fuck it. There are situations where literally, like I said earlier, people come up to your doorstep, start harassing you, start fucking with you and your family. And, you hope that maybe some, IDF soldier comes and finally says, okay, enough, and breaks it up. You hope that happens. And you hope they don't just fucking assist in it or turn around and arrest you. And the next thing you know, you lose your home. So, I mean, once again, I say this with the, the little quotations. It's a step in the right direction. It's something. But let me get this in here. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said Monday that since October 7th, at least 8 Palestinians in the West Bank have been killed by settlers. The UN agency said it has recorded 314 attacks by settlers that have resulted in Palestinian casualties, damage to Palestinian-owned property, or both. 1/3 of the attacks included threats with firearms, including shootings, and in nearly half of the attacks, the settlers were accompanied or actively supported by Israeli forces. So yeah, I just wanted to get that fucking factoid out into the air here. I mean, I know you could just be like, well, you're just firing off the hip. This is all unconfirmed. Look this shit up if you fucking want. You know what I mean? I hate to hit you with it, but do your own research if you don't fucking believe me. God damn. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to pull from here. We can go on and move on to the Supreme Court news I wanted to talk about. From CBS News, Supreme Court wrestles with legal shield for Sackler family in Purdue Pharma bankruptcy plan. The Supreme Court on Monday grappled with whether to uphold a bankruptcy plan for Purdue Pharma over objections from the Biden administration about the broad legal protections it grants the Sackler family from civil lawsuits related to their role in the opioid epidemic. At the heart of the dispute is a provision in the plan that releases the Sackler family and related entities from civil liability from the opioid epidemic, which is fueled in part by the Purdue Pharma manufactured drug OxyContin. The Sacklers owned and operated Purdue during the height of the opioid crisis. Purdue filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2019, and the Sacklers, who did not seek bankruptcy protection, agreed to contribute $6 billion for abatement of the opioid crisis in exchange for the legal shield. Also, something I really wanted to add, I learned this just today, but we have talked about this a little bit before, longtime listeners know. But the Sacklers, along the way, this is my mind in terms of speculation, but I feel like this is across the board. They knew what the fuck was happening. They saw the lay of the goddamn land and what the drug that they were fucking pushing was doing to people. So they knew that chickens were going to come home to roost. So in the process, they took out money from Purdue Pharma. You know what I mean? This is something that was found in their taxes when they finally go through this whole bankruptcy thing. And it's like, whoa, wait a second. What the fuck here? So, yeah, it's really cool that you first give $4 billion dollars and then later $6 billion dollars to kind of help this fucking problem. Real magnanimous of you. But once again, you're a part of this problem. 2, you knew about this shit and then started playing shell games with the fucking money, which once again, if that stayed in Purdue Pharma, guess what? When they do the on the level fucking bankruptcy, that gets distributed properly. But when it goes to this family, well, now this is weird because you guys aren't filing for bankruptcy and it's your money that you're holding now. Like the way this is now working. That shouldn't be fucking right. That shouldn't be fucking fair. But like I said earlier, this was something that was a settlement that had been reached. And now it looks like the Biden administration is saying, whoa. Like, I think it's like 95, 97% of the group says, yes, we want to go forward with this settlement. By doing so, we get at least some kind of money. It's better than no money. And we can kind of move on from this. But like I said, there's about that 5 to 3% that are like, hold on now. And that's like, I think about 2,000 plus people saying, no, this is way more than the crumbs that they're about to give us. We should be getting them for their whole fucking bag. Not only that, it's not even about the fucking money. These people get to say nothing. They get to just skate away with their little bundle of $1 billion. They don't have to say sorry. They don't have to be culpable for any of this fucking shit. And in that part, I totally fucking agree. That's fucked up. That's messed up. These motherfuckers should be bankrupt for real. They should really have to file for bankruptcy, not get some fucking side fucking protection here. That's how I feel about it. But I can understand how if there's a majority at play here and they want to get this done and dusted, why then, are we really going to wait? That's just not fair, right? There's a level of fairness here. But then, of course, there's that legal fairness of like, what about every individual? Shouldn't you get the right to say, no, I want to hold out. And if we can't get this done in a class action, fuck it all, break the whole thing apart. We'll go from individually. But then that opens up a whole other fucking can of worms there, because then it's a race to just bleed these motherfuckers dry. Not to mention, they have the money to fight this for generations if they want to. You know what I mean? So who's really winning then? Then these crumbs that are supposed to go out to the people, go out to, combat the opioid epidemic, that money doesn't go to anyone. It just gets burned up in fucking legal shit. So I do feel personally torn here. It does seem, from what I've gathered in my quick little research, that even the justices themselves are kind of realigned on this issue, weirdly. I'm not sure exactly who's who and what's what. Now, I do feel like my personal speculation that come June when they rule on this, I think they're going to rule in favor of the settlement going through. I don't know. Maybe that's just me leaning on the idea of like, that seems like the most conservative thing. That's just going to that's just where they're going to land. But who knows? I could be wrong. I personally think I want to be wrong on this because like I said, I want the Sacklers to bleed as much money as possible. You know what I mean? You're not going to get these guys to go to jail for their fucking shit. Their crimes are just going to have to be white collar, whatever, But, yeah, I would want them to own it. But at the same time, I'm not a person who has skin in the game. So who am I to fucking say shit from my goddamn armchair? You know what I mean? Also, you look at it and you say, if it's a numbers game and we're talking majority here, that's about 95% of people, like I said, who just want this shit done. They just want to be fucking over the shit. It's enough. We're never going to get real justice. We're never going to get our kid back. We're never going to get the years we lost back to this addiction, this disease that was kind of pushed on us for having, a fucking injury or whatever. And we just said, oh, this will help. This will just do it for you. Take this fucking Oxycontin. You'll be fine. You'll be right as rain. No side effects. It's just good for you. It's just good time Charlie shit. So yeah, that's more or less where I'll leave it. I know I just kind of went into full riff mode here, but, that's why I tell you the source where you can at least go and find it yourself. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Talked about it enough. From CNN, suspect in custody after 6 killed and 3 injured in a series of homicides and shootings in Central Texas. A 34-year-old man is in custody after a string of homicides and shootings across 2 Central Texas communities left 6 people dead and 3 people injured. including 2 police officers. Authorities said during news conferences in Austin and the San Antonio area. The suspect, identified by police as Shane James, has been charged in Travis County with multiple counts of capital murder and is expected to remain in custody pending a trial. The Travis County District Attorney's Office said Wednesday in a statement. James was booked into the Travis County Jail in Austin on Wednesday at 2:32 a.m. local time. Let me see. Let me run and see if I can find the timeline. On Tuesday, the suspect allegedly carried out shootings at 4 different locations in Austin before he was arrested. In the morning, he allegedly shot and injured an Austin Independent School District officer. At about noon, he allegedly fatally shot a man and a woman miles away in South Austin. At about 5 p.m., he allegedly shot and wounded a man on a bicycle. And that evening, the suspect allegedly shot and injured an Austin police officer who was responding to a call about a burglary at a home. 2 people were found dead at the home. So those 2 people were from, I believe, the San Antonio area, which the Bexar County. Also, I know it's kind of fucked up, but the cyclist got shot on Slaughter Lane, and that kind of stuck with me a little bit. I know it's fucked up. I'm sorry, but obviously this is a really fucked up situation. As the police in Austin investigated the suspect following his arrest, they connected him to the address of the Bexar County. The deputies discovered a pretty grisly crime scene inside with 2 people dead. So it's believed that I think we can call this a spree, if not mistaken. It started there, and then he just started going. He went to a school, and then he went to another location, and then it sparked, I believe, a chase. So this is a whole fucking mess. It seems like the shootings are kind of quiet, and then boom, there's always a big one. You know what I mean? This time it just happened to come out of Texas. That's more or less the details as I have them. Obviously, a very unfortunate fucking situation. My condolences to all the people involved in this. If there is any more details, probably drop them on the pod. I've kind of been thinking about maybe even doing some more Patreon content. I don't know, where I cover some more side stuff, I'm kind of getting that itch again. But, but either way, we'll wind up covering it. Anywho, there's more. There's one more thing I want to cover. One more thing. And then I'll let you go. But you know me, classic fashion. I'm going to take my break, and then we will get into it. Ooh. Ooh, I'm swimming in it now. Oh, yeah, buddy. Okay. Enough of the gloom. Enough of the doom. I got a little bit of good news. From CNN. Tuberville releases Senate holds on confirming hundreds of military nominations. It's a Tuberville. Sorry, that was bad. Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville, a former coach turned politician of Alabama, on Tuesday released the bulk of his holds for Senate votes to confirm military promotions, allowing for the quick confirmation of hundreds of nominees. Goddamn, you love to see it. You love when a dumbass finally realizes his goose is fucking cooked and he just gives up the ghost. He just says, you know what? I even got motherfuckers on my own team against me here. Let me just be a little bit more quiet. This is a step, once again, in the right directions. Less quotations. I think this is a good thing, at least for our, hashtag American military. Hoorah. We can finally kind of get this process going. Tuberville, for the sake of all the unborn babies of the world, decided to hold his ground, stand on his business, and he was like, look, I'm going to stall the process. We're not going to get anything started. I'm not going to allow it to happen. And like, we're supposed to be able to do like, my fucking dumbass fucking millennial brain is going like, it's a voice vote. Essentially, they say, hey, yay or nay, I think, for these nominations. And he was like, not going to do that. And it was going to force the process to get log jammed into like this individual process in which they just did not want to do. Like, you're supposed to be able to do this very quickly and easily so you can get to other fucking business. But classic, Congress fashion, usually business doesn't get done. So yeah, he had the upper hand here because Republicans weren't chirping about it. It was only Democrats saying like, this dude is like jamming up our military. Even the Pentagon started saying, yes, he's jamming up the military. And Tuberville's like, no, if anything, I'm helping the military. I'm doing the right thing for the military. Like, abortions are bad, brother. I don't know. He was on one. He was just not fucking breaking frame on this issue until Republicans started saying, look, dude, this is bad. You're making us look bad and we'll go against you. And then you realize it doesn't matter how like, how good your stance looks to your quote unquote constituents, your conservative guys in Alabama. Like, if you have people saying, no, dude, what you're doing is dumb and bad and making us look bad and we're going to go against you, then guess what? You quickly can become the villain in this conversation, no matter how quote unquote good your stance is. So my guy finally backed down. And of course, he's trying to talk in interviews like he did the world a favor. Oh, no, I think I helped it. I think people opened their eyes a little bit. He said when asked about concerns that his stance hurt national security. Yeah, I could care less what they say, Tuberville added, in reference to the Pentagon attacking administration officials for not negotiating a compromise with him. But I mean, his compromise was literally saying, no. If you want to have a paid abortion, you can't, because we shouldn't be funding that as a government. It's like, dude, I'm putting my body on the line for this goddamn country. If I need to have a goddamn abortion, I should be able to have a goddamn abortion whenever the fuck I want. Sorry, I know I shouldn't speak for women. Shame on me. Tomatoes on me. But that's, if I was a woman, that would be my vagina monologue. You feel me? So that's it. That's really all I have. That's the episode for today. If you'd like to help out the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. It helps out a lot. It puts a smile on my face. It puts some money in my goddamn wallet. So that's always fucking cool. Let's fucking go for that. Let's see here. You also get a newsy shout out once a month if you'd like. I shout out your name. I plug a project if you like, or whatever. If you want me to, like, I platform for you. Yes, for you, daddy, mommy. Let's see. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And then you can find me on all the socials. Either me or the podcast. Feel free to follow, say what's up, say hello. I chirp back usually, unless you're weird or cringe. That'd be odd, but all my listeners are usually really fucking cool. So hell yeah. Also, hopefully you're subscribed to the YouTube. That helps out a lot. Trying to get those numbers up. We love a new YouTuber subscriber. Thumbs up are always good. Reviews are always great. Whatever listening apparatus you're using. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.